Jacoby Brissett has been signed by the Patriots on a one-year deal for $8 million. Zoe, what does that mean?
I like it better than Flacco. That's what it means. And I didn't want to go the Gardner Minshew route to what he ended up getting. You see what Kirk Cousins got, which is ridiculous down in Atlanta. This means you're getting a stable guy that knows how to run Alex Van Pelt's offense. That's basically what you're getting. It's a one-year deal, $8 million, and he'll be a placeholder for whoever is next.
I think you got to look at this in totality of the last couple of days. Moving on from Mac Jones, trading him to Jacksonville, going out and getting Jacoby Brissett and adding him into the mix on this deal. It tells you that there is a larger picture plan for this quarterback situation with the team.
And I like it from the sense that they made decisions that they want to do things different. And they made a decision from reports out at the Combine, Phil, you were there, that was the time they were going to move on from Mac. They sat Mac down, a week ago, said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to trade you. We're going to look to trade you. And they know what they want to do. I don't know what they want to do.
They are drafting a quarterback.
This is
they're drafting a quarterback.
Get ready for it.
This tells you. I don't know that means that they're drafting a quarterback at 3, but it tells me they are going to draft one of the top, let's call it 6 quarterbacks in this draft for this team. I don't know that means they're drafting a guy at 3 or staying at 3 or moving up, but their plan is to draft a quarterback in this draft.
I agree with that.
That's what they're going to do. And that's why Jacoby Brissett is here on a one-year deal.
Yep. And I think he understands what he's coming here to do, and he's a good pro at doing that. Now, this isn't sexy to a lot of people. I understand why people are just, what are we doing here? He signed a lot of good core guys. And I know they didn't have a lot of wins last year, but if you had a win who jumped ship, if you had Hunter Henry jump ship, if Bourne didn't come back, if you didn't tag Duggar, if you didn't get the kid from Pittsburgh, still working on his name, Okorafor.
There you go.
Okorafor.
Nailed it.
Chuck Okorafor. They're establishing a base. The Gibson kid, and I don't know we'll get to him, but he cut us up pretty good last year. I remember talking to Bob about it during the game. Like, this kid's good, pretty good little third down back. But for his size, he can move a little bit. They needed something. They need something to complement Ramondre. But I think you need to start by securing your own, and then let's make a splash.
You know what the unfortunate part is, though?
What?
This is another stopgap quarterback, and the last time they did that, it was Cam Newton in 2020. It was a one-year thing. He was here for a year. Older, veteran quarterback. The difference this time, I think, will be that they'll have the kid already drafted and on the roster, which is something they didn't have in 2020 when they had Cam Newton.
Yeah, it feels like they have a plan. That's why I like this, because at least we're not like keeping Mac, keeping Zappy, bringing a kid in. Let's all compete together. It's staggered. It's a stepping process.
There's a move made here, which is nice. This isn't just wait around and see what falls to you. There's a plan here, and I think it is indicative of the fact that they are very likely to take a quarterback at 3 overall. That's what the league would tell you. Just talking to people last night, the league would tell you, they signed Jacoby Brissett to a backup contract. It's a backup deal, right? 1 year, $8 million.
Nice.
They're taking a quarterback at 3. It's a strong quarterback draft. Elliott Wolf himself has told us it's a strong quarterback draft. Pat Stewart, on the record with the team's website, it's a strong quarterback draft. I think what they would tell you is we're not locked into that pick just yet in taking a quarterback, but there's 3 good quarterbacks in this year's draft, and they have the 3rd overall pick. I think this is a pretty good sign that they're at least leaning in that direction.
Taking whoever's there.
Yeah, but they got a month to convince themselves. Like,
they've got time.
Let's play it out. Let's do all the algorithms, and whoever at 80% is probably going to be there at 3. We got to make sure we like them before we take them.
Yes, and they're still going through that process.
And if they're going to convince themselves to like the guy and take him at 3 is what my hope is for them.
You have to.
And now they've got Jacoby Brissett, which means they can sit the kid down for the year. So if it's Drake May and he needs to sit down for a year, now you've got a guy to play instead of him for a year. That's who you have.
You could do that.
I'd be floored if Jacoby Brissett is not the team's week 1 starter.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
That's what I think this move is all about. They went out and got a guy who's going to start for them because they're going to draft a guy and they are not going to start him at the start of the year.
I wouldn't go that far. But I like that take.
I'm going that far.
I like that take by you. He's a guy who can start, which I think is why you get him. He's a backstop if you need him. If the kid's not ready by the time you get to week 1.
They were pretty eager on day 1 to go get this guy. This was the guy they really wanted. They targeted him. Do you really target a guy you expect to be backing up week 1?
Do you pay a guy $8 million for the year if you're expecting him to be your starter?
If you're doing a one gap year, yeah, you do, because that's what this guy
could
costs.
figure in here.
I mean,
with this team,
Phil,
yes.
the market is the market.
Yes.
I mean, what he gets paid is what he gets paid. I actually expected him to get a little more than he did. I think he gave them a good deal. 1 year and $8 million. There's no real commitment to him. You don't have to sign him for multiple years. Hell, Brian Hoyer used to be able to go out and get 2 years and $12 million. No problem. And he's better than that guy.
What Darnold get? 10? 10 or 12?
He gives him the option to start. It's the option.
He's your week one starter. Jacoby Brissett will be suiting up and starting week one.
If your line's not ready.
Because even if they draft a quarterback at 3 and they believe in him to be able to start year one, week one, they're not going to do it this time.
They got to make sure they got continuity up front. You got to be humming at all 5 positions. You better get your tackle on the backside.
I can't believe that we're already punting on the rookie starting week one. I can't believe
I'm not. If you're drafting a kid,
we're punting.
If you're drafting a kid third, I think he's your starter.
Punting. Okay.
I think this is your difference because what you guys both said. It's possible that they may take a quarterback. Doesn't necessarily mean 3. But if you trade out at 3 and slide back, and you still jump in and take a quarterback, now all of a sudden that's where Brissett can be a player.
Sure.
See that if you're taking Drake May at 3, he's playing. I'm sorry, he's playing.